I was diagnosed with cancer, but before I could even process that, I found out my wife was cheating on me. So I moved my entire inheritance to my sister's name and didn't tell anyone I was sick. Sup, Reddit. The same week I learned I'm dying, I also discovered my wife has been cheating on me for months. She still has no idea about the cancer. And she definitely doesn't know I transferred my whole inheritance to my sister instead of leaving it to her. Here's what happened. I'm Jake, 38, male, HVAC tech for 16 years. Started as an apprentice. Now I run my own crew. Made about $95,000 last year. Solid, honest work. My wife, Kelly, 36, dental hygienist, makes around $52,000. We've been married 11 years, together 13. No kids. Met in 2012, married in 2014. Life was routine until it absolutely wasn't. My dad died 3 years ago at 61. Heart attack, lifelong smoker. He left me and my sister, Victoria, his estate. His house worth around $290,000 and about $380,000 in insurance and savings. Victoria is 33, a nurse, and a single mom to Liam, who's 9. His dad bailed when he was 2, and she's been grinding ever since. We split everything 50-50. She got the house. She needed it more. I took the cash, about $190,000 after everything. Invested most of it. Kelly agreed it was fair, but later she started making comments. Must be nice of Victoria to get a free house. Little digs that added up. Dad's will was simple, split equally. He worked as a plumber his whole life, retired at 60, died a year later. Never even got to enjoy retirement. Kelly acted supportive at first, but the comments kept coming. Does Victoria really need that big house? She got the better deal. Over and over. I'd explain investment returns. She didn't care. Then September came. I started feeling off. Fatigue. No appetite. Persistent cough. Kelly barely noticed. She blamed work stress. By early October, I'd lost 15 pounds. Chest pain hit October 12th. Finally went to see Dr. Patterson on the 18th. He ordered x-rays that same day. 2 days later, he called me directly, needed a CT scan and biopsy. On October 24th, I got the diagnosis, stage 4 lung cancer, spread to lymph nodes and liver. Inoperable. Months left, maybe a year with treatment. Dr. Patterson didn't sugarcoat anything. I sat in my truck for 30 minutes afterwards. Everything around me looked normal, but nothing in my life would ever be normal again. I didn't tell Kelly. I couldn't even form the words. She asked how the appointment went, and I just said more tests were needed. She nodded and went right back to her tablet. I spent the rest of the night alone in my workshop. The next few days were full of appointments and insurance calls. Something felt off about Kelly, too. On her phone more, less interest in me, going to bed early. I chalked it up to work stress. I was wrong. October 30th changed everything. I took the afternoon off for another doctor appointment to discuss treatment plans. I finished early. Around 2 p.m., Kelly wasn't expecting me home until at least 5. When I pulled into the driveway, I noticed a silver Lexus parked on the street. New, expensive looking. I figured maybe a neighbor had visitors. Went inside through the garage like usual. Heard voices upstairs, soft music playing. Thought Kelly was watching something in the bedroom, maybe taking a break. Then I heard it, laughing. A man's laugh. Deep voice. Not mine. Coming from my bedroom. My bed. My body moved on autopilot. Upstairs, down the hall, hand pushing the bedroom door open. Kelly was in our bed with some guy I'd never seen. They were too busy to notice me standing there. 5 seconds felt like 5 years. She finally looked up and screamed. The guy scrambled for his clothes. Mid-30s, decent looking, wearing expensive gym stuff scattered all over my floor. Kelly grabbed the sheet, crying immediately. Jake, oh my God, I can explain. I looked at him. Get out. My voice sounded calm, too calm, like I was watching someone else's life fall apart. He didn't wait. Grabbed his stuff, ran downstairs, slammed the front door, and peeled out in the Lexus. Kelly sobbed, clutching the sheet. Jake, please. I'm so sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. How long? I asked. What? How long has this been going on? Don't lie to me now. She hesitated. A long pause. That pause told me everything before she even opened her mouth. 4 months. Since June. 4 months. A third of a year. While I was working 60-hour weeks on commercial projects, dragging myself home exhausted. She was doing this behind my back. Who is he? His name is Brett. He's one of the dentists at the office. Of course. The cliché almost made me laugh. Does anyone else know? No. Nobody knows. Jake. I swear, she kept saying. We've been so careful. Except she brought him into our house. Into our bed. She cried harder. I walked out of the room without another word, went downstairs, got into my truck, and just drove. No destination. I just needed to get away. I drove around for hours until I ended up at a park near Victoria's place. Called her. Hey, you busy? Just got off shift. What's up? Can I come over? Sure. Everything okay? Not really. 20 minutes later, I was at her apartment. Liam was at a friend's house for a play date. Victoria took one look at my face and instantly knew something was seriously wrong. What happened? So I told her everything. The diagnosis. Catching Kelly. All of it. Victoria hugged me and didn't say a word for a long time. Just held me while I finally broke down in her living room. When I eventually pulled myself together, she made coffee and we sat at her kitchen table. What are you going to do? She asked. About which part? Both parts. I thought about it. The cancer wasn't optional. I'd fight it, do the treatment, see what happened. But Kelly, that required decisions. I'm not telling her about the cancer, I said. Victoria frowned. Jake, she's been cheating on me for 4 months. She brought him into our house. She doesn't get to play the supportive wife just because I'm dying. You're not dying yet, she said firmly. You're fighting. But you can't hide something like this forever. I can hide it long enough. Treatment doesn't start for another week. I'll tell people I need surgery for something minor. Keep it vague. And Kelly, I'm getting a divorce. Not immediately. I need to handle some things first. Victoria nodded slowly. She knows when my mind is made up. What things? So I explained the plan. The inheritance from Dad was in investment accounts under my name only. Kelly wasn't on any of those accounts. We'd kept finances mostly separate, just sharing the household accounts. She had access to the joint checking and savings, but the inheritance was mine. My money. My call. Those investments were worth around $247,000 now. Solid growth over 3 years. The original plan was simple. If I died, everything would go to Kelly. Our current will said exactly that. We'd made them after Dad passed. Standard, mutual, we'll love each other and trust each other kind of wills. That plan was dead now. Completely over. The next morning, November 1st, I called my lawyer, Mitchell. Not the one from Dad's estate, but the guy I use for business contracts. No nonsense. Trustworthy. Discreet. Mitchell, I need to update my will today if possible. Sure, Jake. What changes are we making? Everything goes to my sister Victoria instead of my wife Kelly. Everything. And I need this done fast and done right. There was a long pause. Jake, that's a significant change. Is everything okay between you two? Not particularly, but I need this handled quickly. Can you fit me in? Okay. Can you come by this afternoon? Say 2 p.m.? I was there by 2 p.m. sharp. I explained the situation, not the cancer, just the cheating. Catching her in our bed. Mitchell didn't judge, just took notes and asked questions. You understand that if you pass away while still legally married, Kelly can contest a will, he said. Spouses have certain legal rights. I understand. But if I transfer assets before death, there's nothing to contest, right? Mitchell looked at me carefully. Jake, are you dying? We're all dying, Mitchell. I'm just more aware of my timeline than most people. He didn't push. Technically, yes, if you gift assets to your sister before death, they aren't part of your estate. But large gift can trigger tax implications. And if you die within 3 years of the gift, the IRS might still count it as part of your estate. What if I don't die within 3 years? Then the gifts are clean. But, Jake, you're talking about essentially disinheriting your wife while still married. That's complicated. Is it legal? Yes, with proper documentation. But it will raise questions. Let Kelly ask. I'll have answers. We spent 2 hours working out everything. Updated the will so that Victoria gets everything. Set up documents to transfer the investment accounts into her name. The transfer would legally appear as a gift, which is exactly what it was. Mitchell even drafted a letter explaining my reasoning, that Victoria needed the support as a single mother, that I wanted to secure my nephew's future, and that I was making this decision with a sound mind. I signed everything on November 2nd. The investment firm processed a transfer on November 5th. By November 8th, the money was sitting in Victoria's account. $247,000. Clean and simple. I called her that evening. Check your bank account. Why? Just check it. I heard her typing on her computer. Then silence. Then more typing. Then her voice, shaky. Jake, what did you do? Made sure you and Liam are taken care of. This is your inheritance from Dad. I can't. It's yours now. Set up a college fund for Liam. Pay off your car. Do whatever you need. But it's yours. No arguments. Does Kelly know? Not yet. And when she finds out, it'll be too late to do anything about it. Victoria tried to argue, but I cut her off. Listen, you've been struggling for years, working yourself into the ground for that kid. Dad would want this. I want this. Accept it. She started crying. Thank you. I don't know what to say. Say you'll use it wisely. And say you won't tell Kelly if she comes sniffing around asking questions. She doesn't know. Not yet. She will soon enough. We hung up. That night, I slept better than I had in weeks. Despite everything, at least one thing was handled. Life at home, though, was tense. Kelly spent the first week apologizing nonstop, crying, begging, insisting it was a stupid mistake. I stayed cold. I need time to think. I told her, Jake, please, I love you. It was such a stupid mistake. Brett means nothing to me. You've been seeing him for 4 months. Kelly, that's not a mistake. That's a choice you made repeatedly. She cried harder, promised to break things off, swore it would never happen again. I just nodded and went to my workshop. On November 12th, I started chemotherapy. I told Kelly I had a minor hernia that needed outpatient treatment. Nothing serious, just weekly visits to the medical center for a few weeks. She barely looked up from her phone when I told her. Chemo was rough. Not as bad as I'd feared, but rough. Fatigue worse than ever. Nausea in waves. More weight gone. Kelly noticed I looked terrible, but she bought the hernia story. Or maybe she just didn't care enough to ask deeper questions. On November 19th, Victoria drove me to my second chemo appointment because I felt too weak to drive afterward. She took a personal day from the hospital just to help. How are you really doing? She asked on the drive home. Some days are better than others. Today's not a better day. Jake, you need to tell people. Get support. At least tell Mom. Mom's dealing with her own cancer recovery. She doesn't need this stress. She'd want to know. Later, after I see how treatment goes. If it's working, I'll tell everyone. If it's not, I didn't finish the sentence. Victoria's hands tightened on the steering wheel, but she didn't push. Kelly was at work when we got back. Victoria helped me inside and made sure I had everything I needed. You're being stubborn about this, she said. It's my life, my decision. And Kelly, what's the plan there? Working on it. Honestly, the plan was forming slowly. If treatment bought me time, I'd divorce her properly. If things went downhill fast, at least she wouldn't get the inheritance. Small satisfaction, but something. Kelly finds out about the money. December 3rd, everything blew up. Kelly had been going through my desk, looking for something, she claimed, and found the paperwork from Mitchell's office. The will change. The asset transfer. All of it. I came home from work to find her in the living room, papers in her hand, face red with fury. What the hell is this? She waved the documents at me. Looks like legal paperwork, I said. Where'd you find that? In your desk. Jake, you transferred all of your inheritance to Victoria. Are you insane? I took off my jacket slowly and hung it up. My money. My choice. Your money? That was our money. For our future. Actually, it was my money from my father. And our future seems pretty uncertain these days, doesn't it? Her face twisted. You're punishing me. This is about Brett. This is about me deciding how to distribute my assets. You're not entitled to money I inherited from my dad. I am your wife. Yeah, you are. And you've been sleeping with someone else for months. Seems like you had your own ideas about our future. Ones that didn't include me. She started crying, the angry kind, not the sad kind. You can't do this. That money should be ours. Victoria doesn't need it. She has the house. Victoria's been raising a kid alone while working insane hours. Yeah, she has a house. She also has about $600 in savings and a car that's one breakdown away from dying. She needed this. And I don't. Jake, I'm your wife. Doesn't that mean anything to you? I looked at her for a long moment. Ask yourself that same question. Kelly, does being my wife mean anything to you? Because bringing another man into our bed suggests it doesn't mean much. That's not fair. Life's not fair. Turns out neither am I. She threw the papers at me. They scattered across the floor. You're going to regret this. When you cool down and realize what you've done, you're going to regret it. I doubt it. She stormed out, slammed the front door, and I heard her car start, tires squealing as she peeled out. I gathered up the papers, put them back in my desk, and locked it this time. She didn't come home that night. Texted around 11 p.m. Staying at Brooke's. Need space. Brooke was her sister. Lived about 30 minutes away. Fine by me. House was quieter without her anyway. Kelly came back 2 days later. Different tactic. Calm, rational, sitting me down at the kitchen table. Jake, I've been thinking. I know I messed up. I know you're angry and hurt, but we've been together for 13 years. That has to count for something. It did count. Past tense. Please don't do this. We can fix this. Counseling, therapy, whatever you need. But don't throw away our marriage over one mistake. 4 months isn't one mistake. Fine. Multiple mistakes. But I ended it. Brett and I are done. I told him we can't see each other anymore. I chose you. You chose me after I caught you. Not exactly inspiring confidence. She reached across the table for my hand. I pulled it away. Her face hardened slightly. What about the money? What about it? That inheritance should be part of our marital assets. We're married. Jake. What's yours is mine. Not how inheritance works. Money I received from my father before we split up stays mine. But we're not splitting up, she said carefully. Are we? I stood up. Haven't decided yet. But the money's already gone to Victoria, so that particular ship has sailed. You can get it back. Just tell Victoria it was a mistake, that you acted hastily. I'm not getting it back. Victoria already set up Liam's college fund. That money is serving its purpose. Kelly's mask slipped. So, you'd rather your nephew have that money than your own wife? My nephew hasn't betrayed me. Makes a choice pretty easy. You're unbelievable. After everything I've done for you. Like what, Kelly? What exactly have you done for me? Because from where I'm standing, you've been living in a house I paid the down payment on, driving a car I helped buy, and sleeping with someone else while I work my butt off. I work too. Yeah, you do. And you make good money, which you spend on yourself, while our joint expenses come primarily from my income. That's not a partnership. Kelly, that's me funding your lifestyle while you do whatever you want. She stood up so fast the chair fell backward. I want a divorce. Okay, file the papers. That caught her off guard. She'd expected me to backtrack, to panic, to beg. You just let me walk away? You already walked away 4 months ago. I'm just acknowledging reality. Fine, but I'm getting a lawyer and I'm going after everything. The house, your pension, spousal support, everything. Good luck with that. She grabbed her purse and left again. This time, I knew she was serious about the divorce threat. Honestly, it was a relief. I called Mitchell the next morning. Kelly's threatening to file for divorce. That was fast. How'd she find out about the money transfer? Went through my desk. She's furious. I bet. Well, the good news is the transfer is complete and properly documented. The bad news is she's right that she can go after other marital assets such as a house if you bought it during the marriage, your retirement accounts, any other savings or investments. Standard divorce stuff. House is in both our names. Bought it in 2015. Retirement account has about $85,000. Joint savings has maybe $23,000. She'll probably get half the house equity and half the retirement account. The joint savings is already half Hayes, but the inheritance money that went to Victoria, that's untouchable now. That's what I figured. Jake, I have to ask, are you terminally ill? I hesitated. Why do you ask? Because a healthy man in his 30s doesn't usually transfer his entire inheritance away from his wife unless he's planning something. And combined with the will change, I'm just trying to understand the full picture here. Let's just say I'm planning ahead. Mitchell sighed. Okay, well, I can refer you to a good divorce attorney if needed. Not yet. Want to see if she actually files or if this is just talk. Keep me posted. December 10th, Kelly did file. She served me with divorce papers at work, which was humiliating. My crew tried not to stare as a process server handed me the envelope. I opened it in my truck on my lunch break. She was going for everything, half the house, half my retirement, and spousal support for 5 years. And here's the kicker. She claimed the inheritance transfer to Victoria was fraudulent and done despite her, asking the court to reverse it. I called Mitchell immediately. They are trying to claw back the inheritance money. Won't work. It was your separate property, and you can do what you want with separate property. They can argue it was done in bad faith, but judges generally don't reverse gift between family members, especially to support a single parent. She's also asking for 5 years of spousal support. Given your incomes, you might have to pay 2 or 3 years. Standard calculation. Not fun, but manageable. Manageable if I lived that long. Sure, the thought was darkly funny. The treatment was a reality. By mid-December, the chemo was hitting hard. I'd lost most of my hair. I was dropping weight steadily despite trying to eat. Nausea was constant. I worked when I could, but my foreman basically ran the crew now while I handled paperwork from home. Victoria came by several times a week. She brought food, made sure I ate, kept me company. Liam came too sometimes. The kid made me laugh even when I felt terrible. Uncle Jake, you look like an alien, he said one evening, staring at my bald head. Liam, Victoria scolded. What? He does, but like a cool alien, like from that movie. Kids are honest if nothing else. Kelly still lived in the house, but we barely spoke. She slept in the guest room, left early for work, came home late. We saw each other maybe 30 minutes a day, usually just passing in the kitchen. Christmas was depressing. I spent it at Victoria's. Mom was there too. She'd finished her own cancer treatment earlier in the year and was doing well. Kelly spent Christmas with Brooke's family. We agreed that was easier than forcing some fake togetherness. You look thin. Sweetheart, Mom said, studying my face. Are you eating enough? Work stress. Big year. She didn't look convinced, but she didn't push. Victoria smoothly changed the subject, talking about Liam's excellent report card. January hit and the divorce proceedings heated up. Kelly's lawyer was aggressive, pushing for a quick settlement. Mitchell advised taking our time. They want to settle fast because they know their case is weak. The longer we drag this out, the more their position deteriorates. How long are we talking? Could take 6 to 8 months for a contested divorce. I didn't have 6 to 8 months. The cancer wasn't responding well to treatment. Dr. Patterson had been blunt at my last appointment. We were slowing it down, not stopping it. My liver function was declining. Maybe 3 to 4 months left, if I was lucky. But Kelly didn't know that. Nobody knew except Victoria and Dr. Patterson. February 3rd, Kelly's lawyer made a settlement offer. She'd take 40% of the house equity instead of half, drop spousal support to 3 years instead of 5, and leave the retirement account alone completely. In exchange, I'd admit the inheritance transfer was improper and give her $100,000 from Victoria. Just hand over six-figure money to someone who betrayed me. Simple, right? I almost laughed out loud when Mitchell read me the offer over the phone. Tell them absolutely not. The inheritance stays with Victoria. Completely non-negotiable. That's Dad's money taking care of his grandkid. They're going to fight hard on this, Jake. Kelly's lawyer seems determined. Let them fight all they want. They'll lose eventually. What if they somehow win? What if a judge sides with them? They won't. That money came from my father, was an account solely under my name, and I gave it to my sister, who's a struggling single mother. No judge is reversing that just because Kelly's angry she didn't get it. Plus, she was already cheating when I made the transfer. Timeline matters. She's your wife, though. That carries some weight in court. Not for long. And being married doesn't entitle her to my inheritance, especially when she violated the marriage first. I've got the timeline documented. I found out about the cheating before transferring the money. That proves my decision-making. Mitchell drafted a counteroffer. We'd give Kelly 45% of the house equity to get her out faster. Pay 2 years of modest spousal support based on actual calculations, and split the joint savings 50-50 as like adults. But the retirement account stayed mine completely, and Victoria kept every single cent of the inheritance. Non-negotiable terms. They rejected it immediately. Kelly wanted that inheritance money badly. She felt entitled to it deep down, especially now that she knew I'd given it away to family. It made her crazy. The breaking point. February 21st. I collapsed at work. Just fell over while checking an HVAC unit on a roof. My guys called an ambulance. I woke up in the ER with Victoria sitting next to my bed. You passed out, she said. Dehydration and low blood pressure from the chemo. Where's Kelly? Called her 3 times. Went to voicemail. Left messages. Her face was tight with anger. They kept me overnight for observation. Kelly showed up around 9 p.m. hair perfect, makeup fresh, clearly coming from somewhere that wasn't work. Jake, what happened? She looked concerned, but it felt performed. Dehydration. I'm fine. The nurses said you collapsed on a roof. You could have been killed. But I wasn't. What were you doing up on a roof anyway? Aren't you supposed to be doing less physical work? Job needed doing. She sat in the chair Victoria had vacated when Kelly arrived. Jake, we need to talk about the settlement. I stared at her. I'm in a hospital bed, and you want to talk about divorce terms. Well, you're here and I'm here. Might as well use the time. No, Jake, be reasonable. This has gone on long enough. Let's just settle, split things fairly, and move on with our lives. You mean move on with your life? What's his name? The new one. Her face flushed. I don't know what you're talking about. You smell like cologne. Not Brett's brand. Something different. So either you're cheating with Brett again or there's someone new. Either way, I don't care. But don't come in here pretending you're worried about me when you're clearly busy with someone else. You're being paranoid. I'm being honest. Get out, Jake. Out now. She left. Didn't come back. Didn't call to check on me. When I got discharged the next morning, Victoria picked me up. I can't believe her, Victoria said as we drove to her apartment so she could keep an eye on me for a few days. You're in the hospital and she wants to talk about money. That's all she cares about. The money. I should give it back. The inheritance. If it would make this easier. Don't. That's Dad's money taking care of his grandkid. That's exactly what he'd want. But, Jake, no arguments. Promise me you won't give it back, no matter what Kelly or her lawyer says. Victoria's jaw tightened. I promise. I stayed at Victoria's for 4 days. She took emergency leave from the hospital to care for me. Liam was a good distraction, kept me entertained with stories about school and his friends. When I felt strong enough, I went home. Kelly was there packing boxes in the bedroom. What are you doing? She jumped, hadn't heard me come in. Jake, you're back. This is my house. Where else would I be? I'm moving out. Found an apartment. I'll be out by the end of the week. Good. She stopped packing, turned to look at me. Really? Look at me. You're sick, aren't you? Like actually sick. What makes you say that, Jake? You're skin and bones. You're bald. You're weak. This isn't just hernia surgery or work stress. What's going on? Nothing that concerns you anymore. Her face shifted through several emotions: realization, shock, guilt. Oh my God, you have cancer. I didn't confirm or deny it. How long have you known? Does it matter? Jake, I'm your wife. You're my soon-to-be ex-wife who brought another man into our bed. You lost the right to be concerned about my health. When did you find out? October. She did the math. Before or after you caught me with Brett? Does it matter? Yes, it matters. If you knew before, then that changes everything. It changes nothing. You cheated on me regardless of my health status. But if you told me you were sick, I never would have. I wouldn't have. She was crying now. Real tears this time. Oh God, Jake, what have I done? Exactly what you wanted to do. The cancer didn't make you cheat. Kelly, you did that all on your own. How bad is it? Stage 4, inoperable. Oh God. She sat down hard on the bed, boxes forgotten. How long? A few months maybe. Depends how treatment goes. Jake, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry you cheated, or sorry I'm dying. I asked. She flinched. Both. All of it. I messed up everything. Yeah, I said. You did. We can fix this. Cancel the divorce. I'll take care of you. We can get through this together. I actually laughed, an ugly, tired laugh. You've got to be kidding me. I'm not, she insisted. Jake, I love you. I made mistakes, but I still love you. Let me help you fight this. You love me, right? Is that why you were with Brett? Or the new guy whose cologne you were wearing at the hospital? There's no new guy, she said. Kelly, stop. Just stop lying. We both know you don't love me. You love the idea of being the grieving widow, getting sympathy, and probably inheriting whatever's left of my assets. But you're not getting that satisfaction. That's not fair. Remember what you said about fair? Life's not fair. Neither am I. You wanted a divorce, I continued. You're getting one, and you're not getting my inheritance money. I already gave it to someone who actually deserves it. She wiped her tears, anger replacing guilt. You gave it away to spite me. I gave it away because Victoria needed it more than you do. But yeah, knowing you won't get it is definitely a bonus. You're cruel, she said. I'm dying. Cruel doesn't really factor into it anymore. She grabbed a box and stormed out. She was gone 3 days later with about half the furniture. Honestly, she could have taken it all. I didn't need any of it anymore. The final month's March brought warmer weather and worsening symptoms. I stopped treatment on March 15th. Dr. Patterson wasn't happy, but I was done. The chemo was making me miserable and barely slowing anything down. If I had time left, I wanted it to be on my own terms. If you stop now, you're looking at maybe 6 to 8 weeks, Dr. Patterson said. Then I've got 6 to 8 weeks to do things my way. By mid-March, I'd move in with Victoria permanently. I couldn't take care of myself anymore, and I refused to let Kelly slip back into the role of caregiver after everything she'd done. Victoria set up the guest room for me. Liam drew pictures for the walls. His artwork was awful, but it made me smile every time I saw it. Kelly called constantly, wanted to visit, to help, to be involved. I didn't answer. Eventually, I changed my number and didn't give her the new one. The divorce still wasn't finalized. Mitchell, my lawyer, said it could take a few more months, especially with Kelly fighting every time. I told him to drag it out, maybe out of spite, but mostly because I wanted her to know she'd already lost. April 2nd, Kelly showed up at Victoria's apartment. Victoria didn't let her in. I could hear them from the guest room. He doesn't want to see you, Victoria said through the door. I'm still his wife. I have a right. You have no rights here. You lost those when you cheated on him. He's dying and you're keeping me away. What kind of person does that? The kind who watched her brother kill himself working while you had an affair. Get off my property or I'm calling the cops. Kelly left. She didn't come back. I spent my final weeks with the people who actually mattered, Victoria and Liam, my mom, after I finally told her everything in early April. She cried for 2 days, then pulled herself together and spent every day with us. My crew from work visited. They brought food, cracked jokes, treated me like a person instead of a dying man. That meant more than they realized. April 12th, Mitchell stopped by with paperwork. Kelly's agreed to drop everything. He said, she'll take 30% of the house equity, no spousal support, no claim to anything else. She just wants a divorce finalized. What changed? I asked. She knows you're dying. Thinks she'll inherit everything as your surviving spouse if she's still married when you pass. What she doesn't know is that you changed your will back in November. So she's playing the long game. She thinks she is. Sign these and the divorce will be final in about 2 weeks. I signed. Best decision I'd made in months. April 20th, divorce finalized. Kelly was no longer my wife. Got Mitchell's email around 3 p.m. Showed Victoria. How do you feel? She asked. Free. April 28th, Kelly found out about the will changes. Mitchell sent her a courtesy notification that she was no longer the beneficiary of my estate. She called Victoria's apartment about 40 times. We ignored every call. April 30th, she showed up again. I was having a relatively good day, so I agreed to see her. Victoria let her in but stayed in the room. Kelly looked terrible. Dark circles hung under her eyes. Her hair was pulled back messily, none of her usual polish on her. Jake, please tell me you didn't do this. Tell me there's some mistake with the will. No mistake, I said. Everything goes to Victoria and Liam. But I'm your wife, ex-wife, as of 10 days ago. Her voice cracked. You timed this. You waited until the divorce was final to change the will. I changed the will in November. Kelly, long before the divorce was finalized. Then change it back, please. We were married for 11 years. That has to count for something. It did. Then you decided it didn't. Actions have consequences. Jake, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I made mistakes. Terrible mistakes. But please don't leave me with nothing. You're not getting nothing. You got 30% of the house equity. That's about $90,000. More than fair considering you betrayed me for 4 months. That's not enough. Should have thought about that before you brought Brett into our bedroom. You're doing this to hurt me. I'm doing this to help the people who actually stood by me. Victoria, Liam, my mom. People who didn't abandon me the second things got hard. I didn't abandon you. Yes, you did. When I needed my wife most, you were with someone else. So now, when you need my money most, it goes to someone else. Fair trade. She broke down completely. Victoria walked her to the door. I heard Kelly screaming in the hallway about how I was a vindictive monster, how she'd been a good wife, how this wasn't fair. Victoria came back. She's gone. Good. That was the last time I saw Kelly. The end May 8th. I'm writing this from Victoria's guest room. I'm weak. Moving is hard. Eating is harder. Dr. Patterson says days now, not weeks. Mom's here. Victoria's here. Liam comes in after school to tell me about his day. This is how I want to go out. Surrounded by people who love me, not by someone who saw me as a paycheck. Kelly tried one more time yesterday. Sent a letter through a friend asking if we could talk. I had Victoria send back a simple message. No, the inheritance money is secure. Victoria's already bought a reliable car and set up Liam's college fund. The rest is invested for their future. That's exactly what Dad would have wanted. The house equity gave Kelly $90,000, more than she deserved, honestly. But my lawyer said anything less would have dragged out the divorce, and I wanted it done. She can use that money to start her new life with whoever she's seeing now. Don't know, don't care. My pension and remaining assets, what little there's after medical bills, go to Victoria. About $30,000 total. Not much, but it'll help. I never told Kelly about the cancer until it was too late for her to use it for sympathy or manipulation. Never gave her the chance to play the supportive wife while planning how to spend the inheritance. She showed me who she really was when she thought I was healthy and had money. That's all I needed to know. Some people might think I was harsh. Maybe I was. But I had a choice to make. Leave my money to someone who betrayed me, or leave it to someone who's been there through everything. Easy decision when you put it like that. Victoria feels guilty about the money sometimes. She shouldn't. Dad wanted his grandkids taken care of. Liam's his only grandchild. This is exactly what Dad would have wanted, and exactly what Kelly doesn't deserve. Update reading through this one more time. It's May 14th now. Getting harder to stay awake. Victoria says I should rest instead of writing, but this feels important. Leaving a record, telling the story. Kelly's called the house phone twice today. Victoria answers. Tells her I don't want to talk. I can hear Kelly crying through the phone. Part of me feels bad. Small part. The rest of me remembers walking into my bedroom and seeing her with Brett. People keep asking if I regret being so hard on her. The answer is no. She had 4 months to come clean, to tell me about the affair, to choose our marriage. She didn't. She got caught. Big difference. The money to Victoria isn't about punishing Kelly. It's about rewarding loyalty. Victoria took care of me when nobody else did. She deserves everything I can give her. Liam drew me another picture today. It's a spaceship. Says I can take it with me when I go on my adventure. Kid doesn't really understand death yet. That's probably better. Mom's been reading to me when I'm too tired to read myself. Currently going through The Hobbit. Been years since I read it. Still good. Simple story about someone going on an adventure. Finding courage. Making it home. Fitting somehow. Mitchell called yesterday to confirm everything's buttoned up legally. Victoria is set as executor, sole beneficiary. Kelly has no claim to anything. He asked if I wanted to leave her a letter or anything personal. Told him no. Already said everything I needed to say. Hospice nurse comes by twice a day now. She's nice. Doesn't ask too many questions. Just makes sure I'm comfortable. Adjusts meds. Checks vitals. Victoria asked about moving me to hospice care. I said no. Want to be here. Want to be home. This isn't the home I expected to die in. Thought it would be my house with Kelly. Life had other plans. Better plans. Turns out this place has love in it. My house just had broken promises. Kelly sent flowers today. Victoria threw them out before I could see them, but she told me about it. Card said, I'm sorry for everything. Goodbye. Too little, too late. Goodbye. Kelly, hope you figure out what you're looking for. Just glad it's not my problem anymore. Goodbye. Read it. Told my story. Left my mark. Took care of business. Made sure the right people got what they deserved. The good ones and the bad one. Time to rest now. Final note from Victoria. Jake passed away peacefully on May 17th, surrounded by family. He was conscious until the end. Made jokes with Liam about spaceships. Told Mom he loved her. For everything. Kelly showed up at the funeral. We let her attend but kept our distance. She cried the entire service. I don't know if the tears were real or for show. Doesn't matter anymore. The will was executed exactly as Jake wanted. Kelly tried to contest it through her lawyer, but gave up after 2 weeks when her lawyer told her she had no case. Liam's college fund is set. My car is paid off. We're stable for the first time in years because my brother thought ahead and took care of us when it mattered most. Jake was my hero. Not because he was perfect, but because when life dealt him the worst possible hand, he played it with dignity and made sure the people who loved him were protected. Kelly will always be the woman who cheated on my dying brother. That's her legacy. Jake's legacy is a nephew who will go to college debt-free and the sister who didn't have to work herself to death. He won. She lost. End of story. Rest easy, Jake. We miss you every day. Guys, we are so close to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps hit that 100,000 mark. Thanks for making this dream come.